This is Solo P1. This is the F1 weekend, the Japanese Grand Prix, one of my favorite races. This is the F1 Flaming Tarmac, F1 Flaming Tarmac, episode 66. And we're going to be talking about the weekend. The race is, well, the practice is tomorrow. But for everybody who listens to us on the podcast, this is going out to you audio guys as well. Podcasts, iTunes, Spotify, Stitcher, wherever you listen to your podcast, this is for you as well. I want everybody to recommend this podcast to everybody else out there. But we're going to be talking about the race weekend. Japanese Grand Prix. It's going to be quite interesting weekend. We're going to see where everybody's at. This is a driver's track, I should say. I would say it's a driver's track. This is one of my favorite tracks. My favorite tracks of F1. If you follow me for years, you should know what they are. It is Japanese Grand Prix Suzuka, this one, Silverstone and Spa. They're my three favorite tracks. So I'm just trying to alter this why I've got this on my podcast, but it doesn't matter. So I'm not sure if TOTO Hammer's going to be, well, he will be with us, but he's running a little bit late. He's just messaged me. So I got a message this morning from YouTube saying congratulations. And I'm thinking, what? Why is YouTube sending me messages saying congratulations? What have I done? So they sent me a message to say we congratulate you on hitting the 5K subscribers mark. So we are on this channel, Flaming Keep It Sports. That's the name of our channel, Keep It Sports, our podcast. We cover Formula One, we cover football, men's football and women's football. And we cover WWE pay-per-views and not the Raws and SmackDown, just the pay-per-views. But we got a message to say, congratulations, you have hit 5K subscribers. 5K subscribers is unbelievable. 5K subscribers. I remember when we started off in 2017. What a journey it's been since 2017 when I didn't have a clue what I was doing. I still don't know what I'm doing. It's just I'm just one of them, and it's just like I love Formula One, I love football, I love WWE wrestling, and I just said, you know what? Let's just start doing a bit of Formula One because it was Formula One I started first. Started doing Formula One for a couple of years before I even started doing the football, and yeah, we started doing the old Formula One, and I thought, okay, let's do it. So it was me on my own for a while. I didn't have a clue. I was just basically reading off a piece of paper, and I just started just doing what I was doing. I didn't have a clue. Got myself a USB microphone, and yeah, just started doing it. Absolutely outstanding. 5K subscribers. I never thought I'd ever even hit this number. I remember when I was on 84 subscribers for a year, and it didn't budge at all. 84 subscribers, but I just kept doing it because I just love doing podcasts. I love covering Formula One. I love covering football. I love covering wrestling. And I love covering women's football as well. And I like doing watch-alongs. So, you know, it was like to hit 5K subscribers was absolutely outstanding. Absolutely outstanding. So I'm going to bring in my coach, who's my partner in crime, TOTO! Abba! No, can't hear you. Still on mute, bro. Hold on. Yeah, go ahead. Yeah, you're good now.
Is it good now? Is it all good?
TOTO, before we start going, how do I get rid of this banner in the corner? I don't know what that's our old banner. How do I get the banners on? Do you know how to do it?
Yeah, I just put it on there now.
There you go, sorted. So, TOTO, before you start telling me about what's been going on, we've hit 5K subscribers, bro.
Yeah, man. I'm glad. I'm just glad. I'm glad that we reached 5K, man. It just shows, you know, putting the work in and getting a reward for it. It's absolutely great. Our channel's growing and growing. We've got to thank our subscribers for that, for liking, subscribing, enjoying our videos. Because at the end of the day, right, if they didn't enjoy our videos, they won't be subscribing. But I'm glad that they're going on the videos, liking them, subscribing, and just gets the channel out there, man. And I'm glad.
You know what's weird is this. Like I said, this is the audio podcast. this is not just the YouTube. When we do the Flaming Tarmac every week, we cover, we put it on the iTunes and the Spotify. Because when we usually do our other stuff that's on YouTube, but this one's for YouTube and not iTunes. But I remember I was talking about when I first started in 2017 when I was just on my own. When I had I forgot what microphone I had now. I had like some USB microphone. And what was the microphone I used to do? What was the microphone I used to use? What was it? What was it again? Not the snowboard, the other one. Blue Yeti. I had the Blue Yeti. I remember the Blue Yeti. I remember if you actually go on my YouTube, people listen on iTunes and Spotify. If you actually go on my YouTube, you'll see my first video when I was just basically, I didn't have a clue what I was doing. I was just thought, you know what, I was going to start talking about Formula One. And it was just so cool, you know. And we've evolved from there from 2017. I remember, this is look, I'm going to give everybody a message, right, to everyone who started off on YouTube. If you're coming into YouTube and your sole goal is to make money, I'm telling you now, it's not going to happen. It won't work that way. If you come into a podcast, YouTube, or if you're doing audio podcasts, do you want to do it because you really like doing it, that you're passionate about doing it? Don't come in to think that you're going to make money within the next 6 months, because what's going to happen is you're going to build yourself up, and then you're going to think, yeah, if it doesn't happen after 6 months, you'll quit. You want to come into this to say that you really you like doing it. It's your passion, and I love doing it, even if I don't make money. And I don't make nothing. I do it because I love doing it. You get me? I love doing it, and that's why if you love doing it and you're passionate about it, you'll stand the test of time. So that's enough of that monologue. That's 10 minutes gone already, Toto. Your fault. You was late, but it is what it is. Let's just talk about this weekend, the Japanese Grand Prix. This is episode 66, man. Japanese Grand Prix. We know what's been happening the last couple of weeks. We've got a new driver lineup at Red Bull. Max Verstappen is not happy. He's not really happy about the lineup, you know, Toto. He's not really happy. Are you happy, Toto? Actually, can I tell you something? I don't even care. There you go. So,
I thought it was the right decision, really, about the two drafts. I just don't think Liam Lawson was ready. I think the suit was too heavy for him, in my opinion.
A bit like this Liverpool suit for Szoboszlai.
Yeah. It was just
the Batman cape. The Batman cape, innit? That's what it is. You can't, yeah, I gave you that leak, man. There you go. There's a good leak there.
It was just I thought it was the right decision from Red Bull.
Yeah.
I think if you look at these past 3-4 races, these past two races actually, Liam Lawson hasn't been really putting in the the pace required. I think Chinese Grand Prix when we had our sprint race, he got beaten by all the rookies, all the 3 or 4 new rookies that was on the grid. So you can see you weren't really adapting to the car. I think for obvious reasons, because most of the cars are adapted to Max's driving style.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, right, he still should have done better. Perez in the same position, and he'd done better. So I just think that coming off F2, first season in Red Bull, it was just too heavy for him. It was too much pressure for him. Like the difference between Perez and Lawson is that Perez had experience in Force India and Racing Point.
Yeah.
So that's where he kind of got his experience and been in Formula 1 for quite some years. So him going to Red Bull is just a smooth transition, and it will eventually put in the good results, and which he did. Perez did. But of course, towards the end, when he was on the way out, of course, he slowed down his car.
I know. Yeah, I'll get it.
Yeah. But yeah, right decision in my opinion.
All right, and so look, Max Stafford spoke out about this. Let me just bring it up on the screen. For people listening on the audio, I'm bringing up an article from Sky Sports. This is the interview that he had today, Sky Sports, Max Stafford. I'm going to bring this up on the screen and take this banner off for a moment. I'm going to leave it on because I want to thank everybody. So basically, what Max Stafford is saying is, look, this is what they said. Max Stafford has confirmed his decision to like a social media post that criticized Red Bull's decision to swap Liam Lawson and Yuki Tsunoda. So basically, Red Bull put up a post on X to say they're happy to have Yuki Tsunoda come into the Red Bull team, the main Red Bull team. And I mean, basically, I don't think he's happy about it, Max Verstappen. But I don't think he's happy with the swap. I think at the moment, all he cares about is improving the car. That's basically what he's saying. He said he just will need to improve the car and fast because he knows that the McLarens are the fastest car, and he knows he's probably not going to win the title this season. Constructors, I think that's out the window already, in my opinion. I know we're only a few races in, but I think the constructors is kind of out of his reach, I reckon, at the moment. The only way that the constructors are going to come back in is somehow that the Red Bull come back in the next couple of races and Yuki Tsunoda is the perfect wingman. But we'll see what happens, innit? So Max Verstappen has confirmed that his decision to like a social media post that criticizes Red Bull decision to swap Liam Lawson and Yuki Tsunoda, not a mistake. Verstappen official Instagram account liked a post from a former Dutch F1 driver, Giado van der Gaard, just hours after Red Bull confirmed Lawson would return to racing Bulls and Tsunoda was promoted to the main team from this weekend's Japanese Grand Prix. So what do you think of that?
Well, what can I say in it? I think
he said he I think he liked the post. Sorry.
So did he criticize Red Bull?
No. I think he liked it. Sorry, it's just me all over the place. He said that he liked it. He liked the post that basically the driver swap. So he likes it. So I think he must be happy with Tsunoda. Sorry.
I think you can say it in from a team principal point of view because Liam Lawson was simply not putting in the points where it was needed. Because end of the day, right? I know with Max Verstappen, he likes Red Bull knows what they're doing, picking a driver. They like picking the nice guy, the one that basically yes man, really, yeah. But even as a first driver, you want your second driver to come in and help. Play team orders, play tactics. That's the whole reason why you want the second driver up there with the first driver. Like Perez was with Max, always helping, team orders. Say if Perez in front of Max, they can do a little swap over, play tactics, play strategy. When Liam Lawson's down,
he's criticised. Sorry, Toto. He's criticised because someone made a post. Yeah, F1 driver criticising Red Bull for swapping the drivers, and Max Verstappen liked the post, so he's not happy with it.
Well, you can say he's not happy in there because
he's not happy with. So we're getting discombobulated here. I'm looking at two different news outlets. I'm sorry. Carry on.
He likes a yes man for his second driver.
Yeah,
we see this every single season. Albon, yes man. Gasly, yes man.
Yeah.
Perez, yes man. Always going to listen what the team tells him to do because in the contract.
Yeah,
always in his contract. When you go Red Bull, you're basically ruining your career. Because you're never going to. As long as Verstappen's there, you're never going to win a title. Just simple as that.
Yeah, so basically, he liked to post for a Formula One driver, criticizing Red Bull for swapping the drivers over. So, Max Verstappen, he's going to say what he's going to say. Once he says something, he's going to stick to it because he's got his hard. He thinks he's hard. So, anyway, yeah. So he's criticizing Red Bull for basically he liked to tweet after a Formula One driver criticized Red Bull for swapping the drivers over. So he's not really. I don't think he's happy with it, in my opinion. So Lewis Hamilton said regarding this driver swap that it's a bit harsh for swapping the drivers over. But he believes that he's a good driver and he'll come back. The positive stuff that Lewis Hamilton always says, he's a positive guy and it's good to be positive and it got to be positive. If you don't positive, you're just going to, But he basically said he knows how Red Bull is, how they, their history, how they swapped over Gasly.
Yeah.
They've done it with Albon. They're very brutal at Red Bull, I would say. Very brutal. So, enough of the Red Bull talk, enough of the driver swap. We have got the Japanese Grand Prix this weekend. This is one of my favorite tracks. I said before when you wasn't here, Toto. I said this is one of my favorite tracks. This one, Spa and Silverstone, them three. This is a proper driver's track, This track actually reminds of Silverstone in parts of it as well. The high-speed bends on this circuit. This is a very old-school circuit as well, like Spa and Silverstone. They still got the grass of the runoff areas, which I like as well. Still got some of the grass, This track is untouched, really, from the old days when Senna was there. So, what's your thoughts going into this weekend? I'm gonna ask you for your predictions after. But what's your feeling going into this weekend with this circuit?
Yeah, if I'm about Lewis Hamilton, this is one of Lewis Hamilton's good tracks. He's won here 5 times.
Yeah.
5 times a year.
True.
It's one of his good tracks. But overall, I think it's a good balanced track overall. Of course, overtaking opportunity may be limited, in my opinion, because a bit of tight corner bends.
Yeah.
But yeah, every time I try to remember his track, I always remember that Alonso overtake on Schumacher.
Oh yeah. Oh man, that was cold.
2005, I think. 2005 or 6, whatever.
When you watch on YouTube all day.
When he was in the McLaren. Absolutely amazing. That's how I always remember this track. Every time I think about this track, the first thing I think is about that Alonso overtake.
He shook Schumacher, man. That was an amazing overtake, wasn't it?
In the car. But look, I think overall, Japan's a good circuit for the drivers. I just look over a style to it as well. You know, that it's just a fast track, in which I like. I think this is where teams like Mercedes could prevail. Maybe Ferrari could prevail, but it's going to be really track dependent and who's going to go on top. I still think McLaren will be strong going into this race, because McLaren is the fastest car.
Yeah, at the moment he's definitely the fastest. It's definitely the team to beat. Yeah, I think it's good. But we knew it was coming anyway. Like last season, when Miami hit, we knew that McLaren was the emergence of the beginning of McLaren, their era so far. But you can't. The Red Bull can't win them all, just like Mercedes couldn't win them all. Teams are going to come along and improve. That's Formula One. He doesn't wait for nobody. You're on top for so long, and then another team comes along and takes over. That's always been just like in the old days. You had the McLaren era, Ferrari era, Lotus era, the Williams era. Everybody has the era, and eventually the era comes to an end. And I think the Red Bull era has come to an end. Next season they're going to have a new engine, Red Bull, so they'll be like starting from kind of scratch. It'll be interesting to see where Max Verstappen goes there when he sees that the car's not really the fastest car. When the regulations change, maybe it'll be interesting. I think he's going to be at the door. I think he'll see the signs this season, and I think he'll probably head towards Aston Martin, maybe where Adrian Newey is. But it is what it is. Look, the time for the practice session will start if you're in the UK. It will be practice 1 will be at 3:30 a.m. That's in the morning. I should know that by now. Practice 2 will be at 7 a.m. So they're having there's no sprint weekend. They should have had the sprint weekend here, by the way.
Yeah, it would have been good, but there is there is overtaking opportunity, but I don't think there's much.
Yeah,
there's some.
Did you know if they've ever had a sprint weekend at Suzuka?
No. Don't
okay. So that's Friday for you. So 3:30 a.m. practice, which I won't be staying up for that. I can't be doing these late nights anymore. I'll just watch the replays. I mean, I'll record it on my Skybox and then I'll watch it after. Practice 2 is at 7 a.m. Saturday, practice 3 is at 3:30. Qualifying is at 7 a.m. And that will be qualifying and the race. We can see the race. And the race will be at 6 a.m. I'll probably watch the race.
I just want to get it. I just want to get out of these races, man. Too
early. You want to get back to Europe time, don't you?
6 a.m. for the race.
I know. This is why they do it. Think about it. They never done this last season. The few seasons ago, they never done it. This is why they're doing it now. They're doing it right. They're getting all the awkward times. They're getting all the awkward times out the way. Have you noticed? Yeah, Australia, China, now Japan. Get them 3 races out the way, regarding time. And then they'll go back to Europe time. Bahrain after. I think Bahrain's similar to Europe anyway. The Bahrain time. The time is similar to Europe. This is why they're doing it. They get all them ones out the way and then they can move on to Europe time. That's all it is. So yeah, the race will be at 6 a.m. and that'll be on Sunday. So this is that's the time schedule for the weekend. So regarding the weekend, the race predictions or the qualifying predictions, looking at the evidence from last race, this has got to be McLaren's weekend, isn't it? Or maybe Ferrari, depends.
I reckon Ferrari could do well, but I think going into the weekend, I think McLaren's going to do pretty well. I
Yeah.
think they have a
Be silly
potential
to write off McLaren.
locking out the front row.
Oh, yeah.
Well, I think Ferrari could be involved in this race. I don't know what it is, but this is a kind of track where it can get other teams involved. I think it's very, very track dependent for the teams this race. The way it's designed, the way it's got fast bends, hairpins. It's got mostly every corner is a bend.
Yeah.
Think about it. The first
That's what reminds us of
like,
Silverstone.
10, 11 corners is bends, and bends, hairpins, bends, and the only way you're gonna have any freedom on the straight is, of course, the way Alonso took over Schumacher and the main straight, but the rest of it's just bends, corners, and bends, and hairpins. That's all it is. So you have to have good aerodynamics on this track, of course. Of course, McLaren is going to be up there. I reckon Mercedes be up there. They've got good aero. Ferrari. But the whole lot's going to be up there, let's face it. I'm just waffling now. The whole lot's going to be up there.
Oh, yeah. You know, you're not waffling. It's true, though. Well, look, it's a third racing, yeah? So it's going to be interesting where the teams are. We know we're not going to know nothing really till about the 5th or 6th race. It's like that every season. But I know what you're saying. I think that this weekend, obviously, you're going to make McLaren the favourites. Obviously, you have to make McLaren the favourites. I think Ferrari's going to be in thereabout. I think Max will be as well. Not sure. We'll see how it'd be interesting to see where Yuki is. But it'd be cool if if Yuki Tsunoda challenges Max. That'd be interesting because, like you said at the beginning of the podcast, so that you can't see that Yuki Tsunoda's going to lie down for Max Verstappen. But everyone's a hard man to walk in the team, and then they'll just start dialing back his card and start saying, "Nah, you've got to be here." And eventually they give in, and they got no choice. They got no choice to give in to say, "Yeah, Max Verstappen is the guy. And you're going to be the guy that supports him." And that's the way it's always going to be until someone stands up to them and say, "Nah, I want it like this." They brought in Checo. Checo was a yes. We thought Checo was going to mix it up a bit. He did when he first come in there, and then they probably dialed his car back and said, "Nah, you're going to do this," and it never happened. But we'll see what happens with Yuki Tsunoda, innit? We'll see what happens with Yuki Tsunoda. But yeah, before we go, we've got 5 minutes. So before we go, I'm not sure if I talked about it. Probably did talk about it. But your thoughts on the Ferrari? You think Ferrari's going to come back this weekend after what happened the last weekend when Lewis Hamilton had the points taken off him, and because of the underweight and because of the front of the car, there was it was Lewis Hamilton, Charles Leclerc, and was it Pierre Gasly all had points taken off him?
Yeah.
So you think that Ferrari? What do you think Ferrari's going to do this
I reckon
weekend?
they will do good this weekend.
Yeah.
I think they should learn the lesson, the strategists.
Yeah.
Because it's a typical Ferrari strategy. Like I've always been saying, I think Lewis should start making his own strategy because there's a couple of strategies that could get him an advantage. But he likes listening to his engineer, he likes building a relationship with his engineer, he likes keeping that connection. But yeah, I think Ferrari could do good. They just need to get the strategy together. I think last race they could have done well as well. But again, need to get the strategy together. Of course, I haven't brought any upgrades in yet, which is still to come. It's only the third race in. Still early rounds. So they haven't brought the upgrades in yet. So I would expect a similar kind of outcome to China, but a better outcome if they can get the strategy right. But yeah, that's my opinion.
Fair enough. So that's the end of the podcast for this weekend. Japanese Grand Prix this weekend. Yeah, it's going to be a good one. I can't wait to see. We're going to see. Let's see what happens with Ferrari. Let's see what happens with McLaren to see if McLaren can keep up their form. We know that's the team to beat at the moment. Yeah, man, it's going to be cool. And don't forget about George Russell as well. George Russell's been showing some good form, and that Mercedes car is looking kind of cool still.
Yeah.
And I think George Russell will be there, thereabout. Brilliant drive from him in the last race. But yeah, man, that's the end of the podcast. This is, yeah, man. To everybody on the audio, Spotify, Stitcher, iTunes, remember to recommend this video and like it as well. And if you want to watch us on the video, come over to the YouTube channel, Keep It Sports, F1. It's just called Keep It Sports. And this is F1 Flaming Tarmac 66 in the bag. Big up to the man them. Big up to the woman them. Big up See you later, guys. Let's get the banner up. Let's just get the banner up before we go. We've always got a delay with the banner. Here we go. See you later, guys. Big up. Bye.